Welcome to Josh's House of Nerd podcast.
Hello, Nerd Nation. I'm Josh, and I welcome you to the podcast. Grab a cold evergreen goblet of blue milk and make yourself comfortable here at my House of Nerd. Today on the podcast, we are on the topic for the month, which is movies that are grotesque. And tonight's movie is the 1982 sci-fi horror movie from John Carpenter, starring Kurt Russell, Keith David, Wilford Brimley, David Clennon, T.K. Carter. It tells a story of a group of American researchers in Antarctica who encounter the eponymous thing, a parasitic extraterrestrial life form that assimilates then imitates other organisms. Well, let's talk about that movie, guys. What did you guys think of The Thing? And we should say John Carpenter's The Thing. I'll get this out of the way. Did you guys know that this was kind of a box office bomb?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I was just looking it up, doing a little bit of research on the movie beforehand. It kind of bombed at the theater. At the time, they had E.T. was out. Not too long ago, before that, had been Close Encounters of the Third Kind. That had depicted aliens as friendly and all this stuff, and they kind of poo-pooed it at the time because it came off as something that was really aliens are bad and stuff like that. So they had it had a budget of 15 million. Originally it was like around, I think they said it was like 12 million, and then they kept upping it and all that stuff, and it eventually rose to 15 million on a budget, where John Carpenter at the very end begged for $200,000 to finish the last scene with Wilford Brimley turning being the thing. And anyways, it made $17 million at the box office on a $15 million budget. So yeah, and the critics just panned it hard. Just said it was, they didn't like it at all. Just left and right, it sounds like. So
do you know why they didn't like it?
Yes, first of all, it says here in the article that they didn't like it because it was so like I said before, it made aliens look bad, that it was horror, but also they didn't really like the kind of overall tone of it and the kind of the color palette of a lot of it. They said it was kind of slow and kind of boring, which I don't know if I understand that. I mean, but I'm looking at it from a long time after that. I don't think this is slow and boring. You know what I look at when I see this movie? I see it as a John Carpenter movie.
Yeah.
I mean, he definitely has kind of a certain way that he does things. And
so I don't understand the why make the aliens look bad. Why is that do you know why?
Well, all the movies at the time were coming out were movies that were making aliens look good, that made aliens look happy and friendly, and this one is like, this is a horror, movie, and it's yucky. And let's see, I'll find the exact article. But that I can't find the maybe I'll find the exact what they said here in a second. But that's really what they said. It was, here's one of them. Carpenter said audience rejected The Thing for its nihilistic, depressing viewpoint at a time when the United States was in the midst of a recession. So that's why that's why John Carpenter thinks that it failed. That was from a 1990.
Because of the recession. It's like, what else can we blame on a recession? That's what all the directors during this time in United States history are going to start saying. Oh, I'm sorry, my 35th Marvel film bombed because of the recession.
Yeah, and they said it was also because it was competing directly against E.T. at the time, which made for that time $619 million.
I mean,
it opened the same day as Blade Runner.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of, I mean, Blade Runner's pretty bleak too, but
it is.
It kind of makes some sense. I mean, E.T. is something you take your entire family to, pretty much. Whereas in The Thing is not family friendly. Like, it's not supposed to be. It's not that type of movie. I mean, it's weird that they have to compete with each other. They're going after different audiences.
Yeah, I totally agree. I'll tell you what, I'm looking at this and it's, did you know that same year Conan the Barbarian came out, Poltergeist, Wrath of Khan, Mad Max 2, and Tron.
That was a stacked year.
That was a great year. Oh my goodness. Wow. Blade Runner made 33 million. So even though a lot of people say Blade Runner was kind of didn't do so great. I don't know if they called it a bomb, but it kind of was. But it still made more than even The Thing.
Mm-hmm.
Which I find interesting. I mean, I'm going to say I don't find this movie, I don't agree with their viewpoint on this, even Carpenter's viewpoint of why it was rejected. Explain to me what nihilistic is again. I don't remember what that word means. Do you know?
Yeah. Okay. So without me looking it up and getting
let's go to nihilism.
Yeah. In some sense that life or the meaning of life is like meaningless.
Mm-hmm.
That it is not. I think meaninglessness is kind of the essential core of it. I'd have to look up like the.
That's okay.
Actual.
Isn't it about rejection of morals too?
No, not necessarily. I mean, the idea is that rejection of morals could come out of the fact that it's meaningless.
Like nihilism. Yeah.
If things are meaningless, then morals don't have a basis in anything. Yeah, exactly. Just by the very essence of everything being meaningless.
And I don't see that. I just kind of don't see that. Also, the depressing
I think it's the depressing from the end where it's like the point where it's like, okay, the world's going to be taken over in what was it, like 2 years, 3 years, or something like that. That's how fast it was going to be taken over. And at the end of the film, it leaves you on the thing survived, by the way. Oh, great. Thanks for that. Thanks for letting me leave thinking the entire human race is going to be screwed over by an alien. So I guess I can see some of the depression and nihilism coming in from Kurt Russell's character, I guess, but that's a stretch.
I'd rather choose bleakness as
instead of nihilism.
Yeah, instead of like just straight up nihilism.
Well, you just brought up a point. Did he leave it open that the thing is alive?
No, I need to remember exactly how. It has to do with the fact that he's. Oh man, hold on. I have to look it up.
I was gonna say I felt pretty much it was cut and dry that he killed him, and then they both pretty much died. Spoilers.
See, and I thought it maybe this was like the extended version of it. I don't know. No, because I thought it had to do something with water.
Well, there's ambiguity at the end.
Yes,
about whether or not the other character from Kurt Russell's character,
Keith David's character, yes,
Keith David's character was actually the thing or not. They never really answered that, and that's I think where the nihilism comes from. It's like all that effort might have been for nothing. Like everybody just died, and you never really got if not a happy ending, then a resolution to the main question.
It's funny. I normally hate movies like this that have like such bleak endings, but for some reason, it just works with this movie. In my opinion, it just the ending works, the bleakness works. I mean, how else do you film a movie that's in Antarctica?
Yeah,
it's bleak. It's desolate.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically its own desert. I mean, it's a cold desert. I mean, essentially,
not anymore with climate change.
Right.
We're gonna have
right.
More
let's bring it to that depressing thing now, John.
Jeez. We're talking about nihilism and depression.
But yeah, I mean, how else do you film this? Another thing I read that they even make it more bleak. They thought about they were gonna do. They're gonna film it in black and white and stuff too. They originally wanted to, and 20th Century or whoever. I don't think
it would have done as well in black and white.
I mean,
to be honest.
I always kind of get a feeling that this is like an art film or a college film with budget. right? Like the entire idea is, kind of paranoia and body horror and, lack of control, and even not even able to tell if you yourself are actually an alien compared to everybody else around you. You know, how many people around you are lying to you about who they are. It's a real paranoid film, and it feels like it's something that an art film would really sink its teeth into, and Carpenter just happened to have a really good budget, and so for making that type of film. So like, yeah, I think that's why it hits a little different than like kind of mainstream movies.
You could draw some like parallels to this movie being like paranoid and stuff like that to movies like Moon or where they're trapped, and that's what I mean by that. They're trapped. They don't know what's going on. They are going paranoid. You don't know what's going on. I think that was played really well. I mean, I think there's good tension in this movie, in the sense that you don't know who's who, and a couple of times when they revealed who was the thing, it was I thought the whole time there was just one organism, but no, it just shocks you and hey, there's actually two things in the room, and which is quite interesting with the scene with the blood as they're frying the blood and protect itself.
I love that scene. It reminded me of my favorite parody of John Carpenter's The Thing, which was the South Park episode where somebody in the class has lice, and Cartman is trying to blame it on Kenny, and he gets everyone to get their blood, and it's The Thing ripped to a T, and it's my favorite parody of The Thing. And that whole scene, as soon as I watched it, I was like, oh, I remember. It reminds me of South Park, so I had to go watch that South Park episode again.
I think South Park really I think they really like John Carpenter's movies, because then they did a shot for shot of They Live fight scene too.
Yeah, they did.
Yep.
Which was amazing. Yep. It was fantastic. And stuff, which is, I'll be honest with you, the music, in the same article, they're saying he was going for like kind of a European feel. I didn't know that European feel that's what it was, but the music felt very similar to They Live.
Well, it was wasn't it composed by John Carpenter also? Because he usually does the compositions.
This one says it was done by a different. It was done by a guy, but it feels very similar to. I mean, he did the original Halloween. I know he did that.
Yeah, if John Carpenter's the director, I mean, he's running the project. They're probably going to make music that he wants to hear, which might be similar to what he would make.
Yep. No, there's definitely some consistency. It sounded like he did this one, but even though it sounded like, I think he did it in They Live, but this sounded very similar to They Live, even though he didn't do it. Even though, with that kind of that drumming, those dum dum.
Yeah.
Dum, dum. Yeah, that's consistently. There's like hardly any. I don't even know if there is any music in They Live, and that's that drumming sound and stuff. But anyways, it's not so melodic as the Halloween theme.
But it is kind of as it is. I think it is as stark as the Halloween theme. The Halloween theme doesn't have a whole lot of like, it's not like orchestral and. It has all these different instruments and stuff like that. It's like very stripped down, and so is this soundtrack, I feel like.
It very stripped down. But I think it adds to the overall desolation of it.
I mean, it perfectly fits. I mean, what else are you going to put there?
Oh, yeah, without a doubt.
Wailing guitars and drum solos? I don't
know.
It
was 1982. They did do that a lot. I mean, the Never-Ending Story somewhere around there where they did stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, the other thing that they said that they did that really they tried on purpose, instead of doing black and white, they did all the colors, and you can see this. They said all the colors on purpose were done in grays and blacks and muted colors, really stark, like dirty whites. And
I mean, it made the fire and the blood stand out. So like, it works for me. It's why I think it might work in black and white too, just because
it's going to be a darker, stark contrast in between those colors.
The only
Yeah,
reason they went
potentially.
against the black and white was that they said they didn't think they could sell it the television rights, like to TBS or something like that,
Oh,
for rebroadcasting. That's it. That's all. That's the only
they
reason.
think that's going to be the problem.
Yeah.
not the body horror or people losing limbs
popping
and
out of the chest. And, oh my gosh, spider person.
the very essence of agony on screen. Come on.
Yeah.
This was like 1982's Hostel. Like that's
Kinda. Yeah.
it really was.
Except I can watch this one, Hostel.
Yeah, no, I'll never watch Hostel. That's one I cannot do.
Well,
Like, I would refuse to watch it.
It's the
It's
almost supernatural aspect of the body horror that makes it not feel like Hostile.
Yeah,
Hostel,
that's very true.
It's almost
Hostel is
too,
like human against human.
Well, it's
and
almost
real.
too easy to put yourself there, right? Like
Exactly.
the thing gets so off the rails in its visuals that you're just kind of shocked into it. You're not like empathizing. You're not like putting yourself in the place of the characters. You're just like, what the hell did I just see?
I mean, they spent $400,000 on just those beasts alone.
I don't doubt it. There was,
and
I think it was this one.
Wonderful.
But one of the main, I think it was this one. One of the main guys that worked on it spent like all of his time on it, like like trying to get stuff done for the shoots.
Got put in the hospital
like
for it too.
Yeah, exactly. I think it wasn't it the same guy who did American Werewolf in London.
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
good call, dude. Yeah, it is. It's the exact guy.
Yeah, and you can
they
tell.
Liked him so much. Oh yeah,
yeah. He's got a visual style.
His name is Botten and stuff. Last name.
All
Botten.
respect to Botten,
dude. He's an artist, dude. He's amazing. I mean, between this and American Werewolf in London is just holy crap. I mean that still has some of the best special effects of all time of a transformation of a werewolf. I mean, it is the template for a lot of other werewolf movies for that transformation and stuff. And he clearly brought it over to The Thing. I mean, props to that guy for just going the extra mile. I mean, getting put in the hospital for it too.
Well, but the inventiveness, just the fact that it had to be practical, and just the engineering inventiveness to get it to work, right? Mm-hmm. And it's just really cool, and it really puts to shame the CGI version of it that was done later.
Have you guys seen that to compare it? I haven't seen it.
I've watched some of it. I was just like, if I'm gonna watch this, I'm gonna watch the original. I wasn't that impressed with the remake.
Did they do it along the same things of being in Antarctica and?
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was. Man, it's been a while since I've seen it, so
that's okay.
And it feels forgettable only because this one exists, and every time I think about The Thing, I'm thinking about this one. I'm not really remembering if they were like beat exactly the same. I think they were, but it's like
it's kind of like the remake
just doesn't hold up at all
of The Fog,
like compared. Yeah,
or Poltergeist, or they're forgettable, dude.
Yeah, they kind of are. I mean, and maybe they're only forgettable to us, an older generation, and maybe a younger generation. They're not as forgettable, but I feel like the reason they made those was to appeal to us, our generation, and we're like, yeah, this doesn't have the charm. It doesn't have the interest or the physicality of the original.
Yeah, no, I agree. I wish I had the time to see it. I thought I didn't even think about seeing that version to kind of almost compare the two and stuff. Because I've never had anybody, even though people know that I love horror, I've never had anybody be like, "Hey, Josh, you need to see The Thing," the new version. I've had a few people say, "You should check out the new Fog. It's all right." And I checked out the new Poltergeist, and it's awful. But
yeah, I think it would have been interesting to bring that. I should have brought that up last time, that, if you get a chance, watch the new one and then you can compare and contrast. But I think what it would do is it would just take up all our time talking about the differences between the two and basically just crapping on the new one and not really talking about the old one and its merits.
Yeah, because honestly, I would rather spend our time talking about this movie. this movie, in my opinion, is a masterpiece in some ways. You know, someone might not like something here or there, but I mean, just the special effects alone, I mean, just make this movie such a masterpiece of of actual in camera physical effects, which are really hard to be beaten, and even today in in the CGI world, really hard to beat these kind of amazing, wonderful creatures that they made in this movie.
Well, and it's like the pushback against CGI that's happening now, where people are like, well, if you do CGI, you still make the character like the puppet, like thinking like Yoda and stuff like that. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
if you're gonna do CGI Yoda, don't do the prequels. Do a CGI Yoda that looks like the old '70s puppet, because that we have a better connection with that. It's more interesting than him flipping around the room and stuff like that. There's a certain charm or kind of interest there that we have for that type of thing, where we don't necessarily for CG in that instance.
No, and you're exactly right. And I'm glad these are practical. Because even CG, like I watched Avatar a few weeks ago, about a week ago, and just kind of brushing up for the new movie coming out. And even there, with amazing CGI that was put into that, there's still the uncanny valley going on.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas with this kind of stuff, it's there, but it's definitely a much different, because that you're looking at something that's not real or twisted, or you're not looking at a real person.
It's physically in the space with the actors. That's the
Yeah.
interesting part. It's like the surprise scene in Alien,
I
the chest
just
burster.
thought
It's
the
the
same
same type of
thing.
idea. It's like you just don't. It's I'm sure modern day actors are getting better and better at figuring out tricks to work in a CGI environment, in a green screen environment or something like that. But I would think you would prefer something physically there.
Oh, I would absolutely something to act
It
against.
just reminds me of the story about Ian McKellen breaking down during a green screen shooting for the new Hobbit. Like that whole aspect of just how much of a movie now is just pure green or blue screen, and how different it was back then to have all these practical effects.
Yeah, he got pretty upset about that one, if I remember right, seeing the outtake of that.
Yeah, I mean, I would be too if somebody was recording one of my like hardest moments, or my candid breakdown in front of a crew. I'd be really upset if somebody leaked that too. So
that between him and Christian Bale, I mean, I guess they're probably pissed and stuff. Did you ever see the Terminator? Is it the Terminator one? That's what it was. His freak out in Terminator, or even Tom Cruise's freak out recently. Anyways, yeah. But yeah, that's one of the things that just absolutely stands out in this movie is the special effects, and there's not a lot. It's more puppets, and there's not an actual lot of like what most people would think of as special effects. It's not like Star Wars or anything like that. They could have tried to take more of an angle on that, but they didn't, thankfully.
I think it's a pretty high special effects. I don't know how I don't know how I would judge the differences between them. It's like how much of their time was spent on special effects, because the guy
what I meant by special effects is more like the like lasers and things like that. The special effects were done more like we were just talking about. It just more in camera, non CGI.
I mean, they may have done some paint over stuff, rotoscope and stuff like that. We don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting. Like just the how they use pneumatic tube and stuff like that to make the stuff squiggle in and out. Like they reverse the film, so they pull the stuff through and then they reverse the film, so it looks like it's coming out real quick. Stuff like that.
Like the spider head.
Sort of the spider head. The spider head, I'm not sure that was reverse or not. I don't think they really talked about which one was reverse or not. But like when the vine like things are coming out and spreading across the room, especially during the dog scene and stuff like that, it's like they would just pull it really fast, and then they'd reverse. Or I think they reverse the film, so they leave them out, pull them in, and then reverse the film, and then like it looks like it's moving out quickly from the body or something like that.
Very cool.
So yeah, they did some really cool things, and it's all special effects, right? It's all it's all the same type of stuff or similar type of thinking that you would do for Star Wars. And I'm sure they were inspired by some stuff that, Star Wars did with creature effects and stuff like that. And just took it to that next level, and it's like, oh, Star Wars is going to stop at the, ultra grotesque. Whereas in John Carpenter's like, nah, we can go. Let's go there. And I think it works.
Oh, without a doubt. It works. It works unbelievably. Here, kind of throwing back to originally what we were talking about too. When I first saw this originally, I didn't know. I actually probably didn't get through it that much. I probably didn't watch it all the way through. And the reason for it was that it was slow. So I guess I can understand people maybe saying that it was a little slow paced or whatever. But here's the crazy thing. I actually didn't fully see this movie for the first time until a couple of years ago. And now it's one of my favorites of all time. I mean, just absolutely amazing. But just everything about it, I've actually watched it a second time. I bought it about a month ago. And then I watched it for this again, just brush up. And I'm glad I did, because it just, every time I watch it, I think I like it more and more every time.
Mm-hmm.
And stuff. And I see these things that we're talking about, these special effects. I see the little, it's kind of like, some of those movies that you always say that the ones that I hate, and like I'm thinking about Ending Things and things like that, or you watch them over and over again, and you get more from them every time. You see more. And
yeah.
I don't, and Carpenter's known for that. I don't know, John Carpenter with, They Live and all that stuff, there was a message there about consumerism and things like that.
Yeah, he's not subtle.
Do you think there was a message in this one? John Carpenter was trying to get crossed?
Aliens are probably not our friends.
It definitely wasn't global warming.
I mean, it had Wilford Brimley in it, so it could be something about diabetes.
Oh, jeez.
I got the reference, but come on.
Or Quaker Oatmeal.
Oh, Quaker Oatmeal, yeah. I will say, but Wilford Brimley is actually one of my favorite supporting characters. I've loved him in everything he's done. I just like him as an actor.
I'm not sure I'm not 100% sure this movie actually asks a question. I don't think so either. It's just paranoia, like just steeped in paranoia, and more along the lines of like, how would you handle this situation? But not really like, here's a mirror to society in some way. Yeah. I mean, I guess you could stretch it a bit into, whatever political realm you want to go into about, scared of the other and stuff like that. But the problem with that is that this movie confirms your fears about the other, and confirms your fears that your neighbors are, are scary and destructive. And even the people you work with might be scary and destructive. So I would like to say it's not a movie with a message. It's just more along the lines of, here's an atmosphere that we're going to play in for a while and just enjoy it, for what it is. I don't think it's necessarily trying to, give you a deeper understanding of a subject.
Fair enough.
Maybe how you feel about spiders.
Oh, jeez. I hate them. Especially spiders with upside down heads attached to them. But yeah, that's another thing. Oh, that's another thing. I noticed with this one. Apparently, John Carpenter likes Keith David, dude.
And I mean, if they work well together, yeah.
He was also, in They Live as well.
Mm-hmm.
And stuff. I like him as an actor. He's always a badass. And stuff. But I really enjoy him being in this one also. I can't remember which one came out, They Live or this one. I think this one might have come out first. and stuff. I think might be a couple years apart, but anyway, they're but they both, I think they both work really good together, and I'm glad that that's a person he works with. Anyway. Anything else that everybody wants to bring out? It sounds like we're starting to kind of wind down on topics that we wanted to discuss.
Nope, I'm good.
I'm good.
They Live, 1988. So it was after.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. I was just seeing if there was any other Keith David or any other team ups with Keith David and John Carpenter, but it doesn't look like it. Just The Thing and They Live. And then, had no idea he was in Pitch Black and Chronicles of Riddick. Huh, interesting.
Yeah, he was the priest.
Oh, he was. Yeah, okay. Duh. I own that movie and I still haven't seen it. I haven't seen it for a long time. All right, let's go to the ratings then, guys, if we're kind of winding down about this movie. Kurt, do you want to go first?
Sure. I'll give this a 7 out of 10. I think there's some interesting characterization that, kind of is a little wonky. It doesn't really dip into the paranoia as far. Like it kind of, I feel like it takes away from that for the action and the creature effects, which I'm fine with. That's why it's entertaining. That's why it's a 7. But I don't think it does it's not like it's like a fun popcorn movie. It doesn't really sit with you later and make you think about it too much, which is cool, which is always good.
I agree.
I'd watch this with my mom. I don't think there's any reason not to watch this with my mom. I don't think she'd really care for it or about it, but
You don't know if she would enjoy it, but you still will try to watch it with her and see if she likes it.
yeah.
Yeah, why not? Me, I gave it an 8 out of 10 Spiderheads. Man, I do own it. So I kind of for the same idea, we're just a point difference on that, Crit, but a lot of the same reasons for that. It's not perfect. This movie, I probably like it more. I probably gave it a little higher than I should have. And that's probably,
No, if you like it, you like it.
And that's what it comes out of. Yeah, I like this movie a lot, and there's more probably rating higher than that because of just my personal like of the whole thing. Is there flaws? Yeah, there is. But tell me a movie doesn't have flaws, or tell me a Carpenter movie doesn't have flaws, even though there's a lot of good Carpenter movies. With Halloween being one of the best horror movies in so many ways. But anyways, all right. Okay, for the movies next week, guys. John.
Okay.
What is the movies next week we're going to try to watch for Grotesque?
So I will say there was one movie I wanted to include, but then I realized I would have to watch it again if you guys chose it. And that was should I tell you what that movie was, or should I wait till after crits?
Probably wait till after mine.
Yeah, wait.
Okay, I'll wait till after your picks. But just remind me.
It scares me that you even you brought it up, thought about it. You're like, I don't.
Oh,
I
debated it, but then I was like, crap, I don't want to watch it again.
It just makes me laugh.
And it was like it'd be like playing roulette, really.
Yeah,
Russian roulette with movie choices. It's like putting,
right.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so
I'm really excited to hear what you picked. Then
first one is: have you traveled to a foreign country recently? The second one is fundamentally wrong. And the third one is, how does he eat? So it's, have you traveled to a foreign country recently? Fundamentally wrong. And how does he eat?
I kind of liked how does he eat, Crit.
Okay. I feel like anything involving food and the subject grotesque is going to be really grotesque. So,
all right.
Why not, man?
Is that what we're going with?
That's what we're going with.
Okay. Right. Have you traveled to a foreign country recently? Is Parasite.
Go.
Okay.
Fundamentally wrong was Old Boy.
I haven't seen either.
Wow. Yeah, I guess you're just going off the whole subject matter, which is great. I love it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Because you went wide open, and that was the very first thing that popped into my head with Grotesque was Old Boy's subject matter. Yeah. I was just like, oh boy, that one would be a fun or really awkward talk.
Yeah.
So, and the one you chose, How Does He Eat, is Tusk with Justin Long.
Okay. Yeah. I think I'd rather have done Old Boy, but Tusk is fine.
Tusk, Justin Long, and Haley Joel Osment.
I have not seen any of these.
Oh boy,
is this a Smith movie?
I don't know.
I thought Tusk was a Smith movie.
I really don't know. I'll double check it.
That's all right.
I am going into this blind. It's crazy.
Yeah. It is a Kevin Smith film. Strap yourselves in. That's all I can say is strap yourself in.
That scares me.
I'm really interested in seeing how that's going to work. So,
all right.
So yeah, we will do that for not next week, but the week after.
Yes. I look forward to it. Okay. Tusk it is. Man, I gotta go look at these others. I've been wanting to watch Parasite for a long time. I didn't know it fell into the category of grotesque though. But I've never seen it, so I don't know.
Yeah, I won't spoil anything about it. So
all right. Okay, well, thanks for everything, guys. This was a fun topic, fun movie. I really enjoyed it a lot, in watching it and talking about it. And if any of you guys out there, have any comments or anything like that, then please leave them in the comments below. Tell us what you think about John Carpenter's The Thing. If you like it, dislike it. If you didn't like it because of somewhat of the critics said in 1982, or if you liked it, as much as us. And as always, may you be excellent to each other and live long and prosper from all of us here at Josh's House of Nerd. Have a good night, guys. Thank you.
Thanks for watching. For more nerdy awesomeness, please like and subscribe and check out our other nerdy videos.